What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Luke here, and today I'm gonna do I guess part 2 of the what you don't know about leasing video. When I get off on just talking about it, there are some things that I missed, and some people brought it up to me in the comments, and I had about 3 or 4 good ones, so I figure I could probably make another video about that. I did have a little encore side video about one thing that I forgot to actually mention in the first video, but I'm gonna kind of go into that a little bit more detail in this one. So hope you enjoy. Check it out. Okay, I'm gonna cheat off my phone here just to take a look at what I'm going over. I never mentioned insurance and what kind of insurance you have to have, what my insurance costs. I'll go over that. There's also how does your credit affect the lease. There's different tiers of money factors, and I'll kind of explain that too. I'll get a sheet from work and kind of show you the differences between them. What mods can you do? What mods can't you do? I'll go over that as well. Do you have to return the lease to the original dealer? I'll be going over that. Also, who takes care of maintenance, and the different terms and residuals, basically, and how they affect each other. Because basically there's different terms and different residuals that you can do, like a 24-month term, 36, 39, 48, some even higher than that, which I've heard of a 60-month. Depending on what you want to do. One could be better than the other, one could be worse than the other, and I will go over why. So hope you guys enjoy. Alright, well, I might as well get started. I don't think you'll be able to hear the car wash too bad. One of the first things that I got asked, well, that was pretty loud. Alright guys, so one of the first things I got asked was, what mods can you do when you lease? And I mean, honestly, it comes down to the dealer that you're going to be taking your car to. It's pretty much just like anything else that you would do if you bought a car and you wanted to keep it under warranty. So, and I would say that's during the lease. So, I usually say stick to bolt-ons, something that you can take off basically and put back to stock, if you plan on turning the car back in. Now, as far as getting something in warranty, like if, something breaks, you've got to really discuss it with your dealer if you're worried about it. Usually if it's before or after the engine, they usually don't care, like intake, exhaust, that kind of stuff. Because obviously if your blinker stops working but you have an exhaust on, well, what the heck, come on. So, but some dealers will not want to waste their time with warranty work. I've seen it. So if they can find a way to say no, they can. Unfortunately, it's kind of up to them. There's no like police on that they have to work on your car. So I'd really just kind of check it out with a dealer real quick and see, hey guys, I'm planning on doing this, planning on doing that. Do you guys really care if I do that if something breaks? Now, outside of where you might keep the car in the long run, well, you can kind of do whatever you want, but again, during the lease period, if you care about your warranty, that's where you want to kind of keep it a little bit mild, because if you put a pulley on it and tune it, and then you blow your engine up and you go in for warranty work, well, you're screwed. That's where you've got to kind of have a fine line on what you're going to be doing at the end. If you're not sure, I just kind of keep it, onto the bolt-on stuff. As long as you can put it back to stock before you turn it in, then you should be fine. So if you have any other questions about that, just let me know in the comments. It's really pretty straightforward. It's the same as if you were buying a car and you were trying to keep it under warranty. It's the same thing. Now, one thing that a lot of people are afraid of is like, what if they see me with it? Well, I'm in for an oil change and I did my exhaust. They don't care about that. So now I'm saying this is most dealers. They're not going to report you either. So if you go in for an oil change and you've got an intake and exhaust on, they're not going to be like, oh, better put it in the notes that he does have no warranty anymore. Highly unlikely. So I wouldn't worry too much about that stuff. When you bring in a car to service, they don't know whether it's a lease or a buy. I mean, if they really, really wanted to look at it, sure, they could find out, but why would they do that? You're just in for an oil change, or you're just checking something on the car. They're not going to look up how you bought the car. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. All right, one of the other things that I got asked was, do you have to return the car to the original dealer? Now, this one can get a little bit hairy, and it really depends on the dealer. Now, I wouldn't really say dealer as much as the lender. If you're in the Chrysler world, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler Capital or Ally does not require you to return it to the original dealer. So if you are buying a Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Ram product and you're getting it financed or leased through Ally or Chrysler Capital, which are the two main lenders for leasing, you do not have to return it to the main dealer. So don't let a dealer tell you that you have to. Just ignore them or don't go back to that dealer. It's pretty simple. If you watched my first video, you'll know that you can turn your car in, or you can't leave it, like turn it in at another dealer. They would have to be buying it from you. But as far as dropping the car, like if you just want to give the keys back and you don't want to do another lease, you can leave it at just about any Dodge dealer. Of course, you have to let them know what you're doing. You just give them the keys and they take it, and they have you sign something. But as far as them saying you have to go back to them, if it's a Dodge or Chrysler dealer, they are unfortunately playing with your emotions, and they're trying to get you to come back to them so they can try to sell you another car. Now, I have heard that there are other lenders that put that in the fine print. It's not going to be Ally or Chrysler Capital. So if you're financing through Ford or GM or Kia or whoever, again, it's just one of those things you're going to have to, like I said, going back to doing your own homework, you're probably going to have to bypass the salesman if you really want to know. Unless you think they're trustworthy enough to just call the bank directly. There's real people there you can talk to, and you can just ask them, hey, if I lease something through you guys, do I have to go back to the dealer that I bought it from? While you're there, you might even ask them about residuals and things like that, and just kind of double check. So that's what you have to do or don't do about returning the vehicle. Okay, another one is who takes care of the maintenance. This again is up to the dealer. You see a lot of these are going back to up to the dealer, and I'll just say this for the FCA world. Again, I come from Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler. You're taking care of the maintenance. It's like, I think in 2016 you got your first 4 oil changes free, or 2 years of oil changes for free. They don't do that anymore, so they took that away. That doesn't mean that the dealer can't give it to you. But when you're writing the contract, or a standard contract, it's just you taking care of the maintenance. Now, as far as warranty, that's all the same as if you were buying a car. It's still the 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty. So if something happens to the car, as long as you haven't modded it past the dealer's specifications, that's covered. But tires, you're on your own. Brakes, you're on your own. The wearables. So as far as the oil changes, those are going to be on you. That doesn't mean, again, that the dealer can't put that in. Sometimes if you think you're getting a fair deal, but not like a super great deal, and you want a little bit more, sometimes you can negotiate that in. Just say, hey, all right, look, I understand I'm getting a good price, but can you at least throw in my oil changes? And they'll make that decision, because that's something they might be able to work out a little bit more. It's kind of at their cost. They're, instead of taking all of the gross or cost out of just one thing like the vehicle, well, now they can merge a little bit of that deficit over to parts and service. So that's also a good negotiation tactic, is to maybe see if you can get the maintenance thrown in there, tire rotations and oil changes. While we're on the subject too, when you're turning in the lease, you've got to have, I know I mentioned this in the second part of the first video, but if you didn't see that one, you've got to have a certain amount of tire tread left, and it can't be down to the wear marker. It's basically got to be a little bit above the wear marker. So you can't wear the tires out and then just turn it in, or you're going to get charged for tires. And you probably want to put tires on it, even if they're used tires, because they will go find the original tires, and of course now it's 3 years later, they don't make that tire or something like that, or they've got 4 in a warehouse in Japan, and now they're going to charge you out the yin yang for it. So do yourself a favor, and if your tires are getting low, you can usually check with a dealer and say, hey, are these tires going to be too low? I would just say if they're to the wear mark, go ahead and get some used tires, throw on. They don't care what kind of tires they are, as long as they've got tread on them. And they obviously match somewhat close to the specs of the original tire. You're not going to put mud tires on your Charger. Okay guys, I'm actually going to pull over and just kind of go over this next one with you, because I've actually got some notes that I want to share. So one of the ones that I got asked as well is, how does credit affect the lease? Well, that's a good one, because I always just say, oh yeah, you got to have good credit, good credit, good credit. Well, you do have to have a certain amount of credit, but basically why I always say you got to have good credit is because that's when you get the good deals on a lease. You know, if you don't have good enough credit, sometimes it's not worth it to lease, because it might be as much as buying the thing. So I guess that's why I always said just have good credit. Well, I'm going to go over kind of the differences of what having different credit might do to you. So the standard is usually about 740, 730, 740 plus. It's not completely 100% about score. It never is. But that's just a good, you know, good marker when you know you're above a certain credit score. They're going to look over your entire credit, just like they would in a purchase. You know, look at your car history, how you've paid, all your other bills, your income, to assign you into a tier. So of course there's tier 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, it keeps on going. So how does that affect the lease? Let's find out. So I pulled up the actual charts on what the difference makes when you're in different tiers. I'm going to go over the different terms and things like that. So for example, looking at the 2019 Dodge Charger, let's just say Hellcat, you've got a couple different terms that you can do in a lease. So for us, it's 24 month, 27, 36, which is the average, 39, 42, and 48. So there is a certain residual that goes along with each one of those money factors. So, or terms. There's a money factor that goes with the term, and then there's a residual that goes with the term as well. So, for example, take a standard 36-month lease on a Hellcat. Right now, the money factor is really, really good on the 2019, and it's 0.00009. So that's 4 zeros and a 9. That's basically 0% interest. I mean, they're making a couple bucks just to put something on the number there, but it might as well be 0% interest. So if you're looking for a Hellcat, now's a good time for 2019. And then what you got to do is match the residual to that term. So now a residual for 36 months on that Hellcat is 58. That's also pretty high for a new vehicle. Again, I think mine was 62 on the 18. So to have a 58 on the 19 is actually really good. So now again, that's starting at 15,000 miles. All of these things are based on 15,000 miles. So if we're at 58%, if you went to 12K miles, you get a 2% bump, so you're at 60% residual. If you do a 10,000 mile a year lease, you get a 3% bump from the original, so it's 61%. So that's how you figure out those numbers. Now let's just say we wanted to only do a 2-year lease. Well, let's see how that affects it. So a 2-year money factor on the Hellcat is 0.00003. So it's actually even lower, which is usually what you will find, because you're only taking 2 years of that appreciation, not 3. So that's actually obviously a very, very good money factor. Now let's look at the residual. So its residual bumped all the way to 68%. Now that's really, really high. And again, the same thing applies. If you want only a 12,000 mile lease, you're at 70% residual. If you want a 10,000 mile lease, you're at 71% residual. Now, of course, you've only got 24 months versus 36 months. That's why those numbers are skewed. And of course, those are the numbers that you would put into your calculator. I can't do it in my head, but that's how they make a 2-year lease, you know, viable towards maybe a 3-year lease. Now, let's say you want one in between. Tell you what, let's go past this, because I had a question. Somebody asked me, well, why when I do a 36-month lease, and I've, you know, usually because when you're buying something, you're like, okay, well, here's the price for a 72-month, but if you go 84, man, the payment's way lower. But in a lease, you're on a 36-month term and you go to 39 thinking you're going to take a little bit of the edge off, but then it ends up being $100 more, and they're like, well, why does that happen? This is why. So if you had a 0.00009 for 36 and you just wanted to stretch it out, matter of fact, to anything higher, 39, 42, or 48, it actually drops off the residual or the incentivized lease altogether. So there is no more 0.00009 money factor. It actually goes to what we call a standard money factor, which I think right now is 0.00225. It's right around there. So you just went from almost 0% interest to, if I do that math real quick, let me just do it for you while I'm here. 0.00009, okay, 4 zeros, times 2,400 is 0.21% interest. So it's less than a quarter percent interest. It's nothing, right? But if we do 0.00, let's just say 225 times 2,400, because that's how you figure out the interest rate, 5.5%. That's more than what a good interest rate's going for right now. So you see how that makes such a huge difference, and all you wanted to do was extend the term 3 months. Well, that's why it's not always such a good idea. Now let's take a look at what the residuals do as well, because that's also going to factor into it. So we were at 39. Let's check this out. So it was at 58 before. It's all the way down to 49. So you're like, why would they do that? Well, it's because that's just what they want to do. They just play with the numbers however they want to. That's why it can be something totally different one week and totally different the next week, or different one month. It's just whatever they want to do. Whatever they want to push out, they play with those numbers. And that's why you've really got to do your homework on why, or how these numbers are playing against you. But that's why sometimes doing a 39-month, 42-month, 48-month lease is not a good idea, because it's not incentivized. So the only two leases right now that are incentivized are the 24-month and the 36-month. So those are the only ones that you want to mess with, because you're going to be going backwards. If I did these lease figures at a standard rate, if I was at 600, let's just say I was at $600 with $3,000 down, and I wanted to stretch it out to 39 months, I'd probably be over $800 extending the term, just because there's no incentivized numbers. Also, there's an acquisition fee on the 2019s, which is usually about $595 for Chrysler. This is Chrysler Capital. But if you scroll down and I look at the 2018s, there's no acquisition fee on those. So I just wanted to go over that. I know it's a lot, but that explains why sometimes just even extending the term is not the best option. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the credit part of it. What does your credit do? So we've got tier 1 through 5. For example, all the money factors that I talk about are tier 1. So that's usually, again, a combination of credit score, credit history, income, blah, blah, blah. So what it does is it adds to the money factor when you're in a lower tier. So if you're tier 2, you must add 0.00021 to that money factor. So if we were at 0.00009 and you're a tier 2, we have to add 0.00021. So let's see what that does just by one tier. So we were at 0.00009. Okay, now we have to add only 3 zeros and a 2-1, so 0.00021. That sound right? Okay, so now we're at 0.0003 times the 2,400 to figure out the interest rate. So we just bumped up another 0.5%. So we're at 0.75%. So it's still not bad, but that's going to affect the payment quite a bit. That might affect the payment $30, $40 a month just by that 0.5% of interest. Now let's say you were one tier below that. Tier 3, you must add 0.00060. I'll keep going. Tier 4, 0.00159. This is where you start to get hit bad, because now we're only down to 2 zeros. You might as well just forget it at that point. 0.00159, and then if you're a tier 5, if they even approve you at this point, is 0.00350. So I remember if you went back to when the standard rate was 00225. Now we're above the standard rate. And remember, the standard rate was 5.5%. So if we're above the standard rate, let's just see what that is. So let's just add in 0.00315 plus the 0.00009 or whatever it is that you're leasing times 2400. We're at 7.8% interest. So you can see where the tiers make such a difference. So that's actually how your credit plays into effect, detailed into leasing a car, as far as being in a certain tier. Now when someone says you're tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, that's how it affects you. Now here's the other thing that I'll just give this away because everybody knows it, but the dealer can actually add money to the residual. So they usually have about, it says here, they may increase it by 0.00042. So basically what that means is if you came back a tier 1 and you're whatever it may be, let's just say 0.00009, well, they have the ability to increase that by 0.00042, and that is added money for them. That's it. That's just them bumping the residual. So this is why I go back to just, trying to do as much research as you can, get on the forums, and see what other people are getting. Usually there's somebody out there that can tell you what the actual residuals are. I'd be more than happy to tell you if you shoot me an email, if you're of course in the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram world. But that's why it's good to keep track of this stuff, just to make sure you're getting a fair deal, because they're still going to make money on a fair deal. You're just not going to get taken for more money if you know what's going on. All right guys, and to sum the video up, people have asked me about insurance. Don't know why I kind of skipped over that one. But as far as insurance goes on a lease, you do have to have different type of insurance. What you have to do is basically call your insurance company and don't just say, I want a quote on this car. You need to tell them you want a quote on this car and you'll be leasing it. It's totally different. It's technically, I think, 100-300 is what you need, and that's far as 100, comprehensive and collision. So you need $100,000 of comprehension and $300,000 of collision, if that's how that works. You know how it usually is. The lowest stuff is 10-20. Well, you got to have 100,000, 300,000. Now, a lot of people, insurance agents, of course, because they're getting your money, will recommend that if you have assets and you have a house, you own a home, you own other cars, you have toys, blah, 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 that you want to have at least 100, 300, because that way somebody sues you, you're covered up to that much, they can't take your stuff, all of that. So I already actually had 100, 300,000. I changed it about a year ago. So when I made the merge over to the Hellcat leasing, it only bumped my insurance up by like $30 a month because I already had the insurance. Now, if you're, driving around in a Honda Accord, no offense, but if you're, going from a Honda Accord to a Hellcat and you weren't leasing your Honda Accord, prepare yourself for quite a big jump in payment usually. Me personally, I pay about $150 a month because I think it was right around $900 every 6 months for my insurance. Now, I'm 35 and I'm married. I have one kid, and I had a bunch of speeding tickets when I was a kid, but I've been pretty clean for, I would say just perfectly clean for the last 10 years or so, and I've got a total of 3 cars, and they're all financed. So, and I'm with Progressive. So is there better deals out there? Probably, but I think I got a pretty good one compared to what a lot of people are saying. I think I'm right in the middle, maybe a little bit below average. When I first got my SRT4 when I was a kid, I was paying, well, I say kid, this was 21, I was paying $350 a month for that. So age plays into effect. Your driving record plays into effect. A lot of that's going to play into effect. Shop around every 6 months. Whenever it's time for renewal, shop around, because it seems like insurance companies will get you at a low rate when you're a new customer, and then they slowly bump the rate up, and then you ask them why, and they're like, oh, rates are just going up. But yet every time, it's funny, every time I've looked and searched for new insurance, I've always found cheaper insurance. So call me conspiracy theorist, I don't know. It seems like they get you in, kind of like the cable companies, they get you in on that low price, and then they bump you up, and then you either switch or talk them down. But every time I've tried to talk to my insurance company about why my rate's high, they don't care about lowering it. They're not going to lower it. They're just going to say, oh, well, rates are going up, or that's just what the rates are. So I would recommend shopping around quite a bit for insurance, and check it every 6 months. You know, just call a couple extra companies and just see if there's a lower rate out there, because, you know, if you're a good driver, they all do the same thing. They just take your money. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and you got a lot of information about it. If you have any questions or you want to know what the current residuals are, leave a comment below. I've been pretty quick to answer the comments. If you liked the video, please give me a like, subscribe, turn on the little notifications so you know when my new videos are coming out. I think I'm now over 2,600 subscribers, so I thank you for that, guys. This is the only reason I do it, is for you and to help other people. So please hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, let everybody know that there's a bunch of good information on this channel, and there always will be. And I'll probably be doing an intermediate video. I've got a baby that's due any day now, so I might have to skip a week, but I'll throw in just something to keep you guys entertained. We've got a nice, really new Scat Pack Charger that just came on the lot, and I did a walk around video of that and a quick drive. So I might throw that up in between somewhere. But if you don't see me next Sunday, it's because I'm taking care of my wife and my baby. So anyway, thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. If you got any questions, leave them. Catch you next time.